he's already yawning. By the time we get to reading the book, he's yawning and he can barely hold his eyes open. If it works for babies, essentially adults, all we are just big babies anyway. What's up, heroes? In this video, I want to talk about sleep. They call me the morning hero because I wake up at 4 in the morning and I have this crazy routine of how I'm super productive and dialed in, and I finish work by noon every day so that I go pick up my son and take him to the beach. Everyone always asks, like, how can you get up so early? How can you be so energetic and vibrant first thing in the morning? Like, how many hours of sleep are you getting? I always tell people, first of all, I'm not shortcutting sleep. And if you want to rise early, you want to dominate the day, you got to go to bed early. So in this video, I want to talk about how do you fine tune yourself? How do you shut down your brain? How to shut down your body to be able to go to sleep earlier and on time so you can get good quality sleep, get the full amount of sleep you need so you can wake up early. That's where real productivity comes, is if you can learn how to wake up earlier, get a head start on everyone else, get a head start on the whole world, and so you can get more stuff done. And that all starts the night before with your sleep routine. So in this video, I want to talk about how do you design a sleep routine, a nighttime routine, so you can go to bed earlier. And that way you can make sure that you rise earlier and beat everyone else. My name is Jarvis. I'm the morning hero. I help people be more productive in their finances, their fitness, and their family life by showing them this concept of if you win the morning, you win the day. And if you're interested in that, you can go to themorninghero.com, and I have a wake up guide that'll show you my top 5 ways of how to train yourself to rise and grind every single day. Let's get back to it. How do you fine tune your sleep rhythm, your sleep cycle, so you can start going to bed earlier? And it comes down to designing a sleep routine. Me and my wife, we are first-time parents. My son is 1.5 years. His name's Jetson Robert, and he is by far the greatest human being to ever be born. When you go speak to any new parent, the first thing you always ask them is, how's your sleep, right? It's just known that you're going to be sleep deprived. You're going to go through this process of trying to find a new sleep rhythm with this new child. And so the first thing all new parents go through is something called sleep training, where they have to try to train their child to go to sleep at a certain time. And that's the only way you can find your sanity, is if you can get them on a regular sleep cycle. This is a multi-million-dollar industry. There are dedicated sleep consultants and sleep coaches who even went to school for it. There's a big business and big industry all around just teaching your child how to go to sleep. The first thing they tell you is that you have to design a sleep or a nighttime routine. And what a routine is just a set of steps. It's a series of events. It's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and you do them in the exact same order. And that's a routine. And so when you design a nighttime routine, for instance, our nighttime routine with our son is we first have dinner with him. Right after dinner, we get him ready for a bath. After the bath, we put on his PJs. After we put on his PJs, we put on this little white noise music and we read him a book. And right after we read him the book, we say, all right, son, it's night time. Love you. Mommy, daddy loves you. And we put him in his crib. That's the 5 steps. We do that same 5 steps, and we do them at the same time every day. By the time we get to 7:15, 7:30, we are winding down that whole sequence and we put him down. And most of the time he goes down now right at the time we want. And so that's a nighttime routine. And here's the power of a routine. Our brains are built off of triggers. A trigger is something that's an event that happens that triggers you into a different state. And our brain operates off of triggers. That's why when you walk past a bakery and you smell donuts, you all of a sudden get hungry. You all of a sudden start salivating. The smell of the donuts is a trigger, and it triggers your brain into another state. Your routine is you're designing a routine that's going to trigger your brain into a different state. And so you need a way to turn your brain off, to trigger your brain into a state of calm, soothing sleep. Because all day long, you've got all this wound up energy. You're at work, you're doing email, you're on social media, like everything is triggering your brain up. Right? You need a way to trigger your brain down, and your routine is what's going to do that. It's like with my son, now we have it so dialed in that we have dinner, then we have bath time, then we put his PJs on. His brain starts to recognize that pattern. And so now by the time we get to like the 3rd step in the routine, his brain has recognized the pattern that, oh, okay, we're going to bed. it's time to shut down. It's effectively trained his brain so by the time we get to the end of the sequence, he's already yawning. Like by the time we get to reading the book, he's yawning and he could barely hold his eyes open. We've officially triggered his brain down into sleep. Now, if it works for babies, essentially adults, all we are just big babies anyway. What you'll want to do is design a nighttime routine. It's a set of events that you do the exact same way every evening. And in that way, it starts to trigger your brain into a state of sleep. Unfortunately, what a lot of people are doing is they're doing the exact opposite. You have a routine. Everyone has a routine. Maybe right now your routine is surfing social media or on your laptop right before bed or binge watching Netflix, whatever. You have a routine. Unconsciously, what people are doing there is their routine is triggering their brain up. It's triggering their brain into active mode. And so what you'll want to do is design a healthy nighttime routine that's going to trigger your brain into sleep. So for instance, my evening routine is, I put my son to bed, I go and I brush my teeth and wash my face. Actually, I have an alarm set on my phone that I know what time I need to go to bed by. I set a power down hour alarm on my phone for 1 hour prior to the time I know I want to be in bed by. I know I need to be in bed by 9 p.m. for me to get my full 6-7 hours of sleep so I can wake up fresh at 4 a.m. And so that's my magic number is 9 p.m. And so I set my alarm for 8 p.m. 8 p.m. now is my first trigger. So the alarm goes off. I look at my phone. It says, take your ass to sleep, because that's the way I label the alarm. I'm very harsh with myself. Disable the alarm. And then that's my cue to start my nighttime process. And so at that point, I stop engaging with my phone. I stop doing any emails, or I finish the last email that I'm doing for work. I turn off the television. I go and I get ready for bed, brush my teeth, kind of put on my night gear. And then I pull out a book and I start reading. By the time I get to that step of the process, I really can only make it about 2 or 3 pages into the book before I am about to pass out. My brain is officially shut down and I can get to bed easily by 9 p.m. Now, I didn't start off that way. I used to be a computer engineer, and as an engineer's lifestyle is very nocturnal. We stay up working all night long. So that was my rhythm. And so I had to train myself to go to bed by 9 p.m. And it was a transition, but it can be done. I don't care what your circadian rhythm is, right? You can always change it. You can train yourself to go to bed earlier so that you can wake up earlier and take advantage of the domination hours of the morning. First thing I would encourage you to do is, one, set an alarm. Decide what time you need to go to bed by, and 1 hour prior to that, that's the power down hour. That hour you're going to need to power your brain down. So set your power down hour alarm on your phone for 1 hour prior to the time you want to be in bed by. Use that time to disengage. Stop social media, stop your laptop, stop your television. And I encourage you to read. The reason I like to read at night is because your brain will fester on the last thing you feed it right before bed. That's why if you're watching a scary movie right before you go to bed, you'll tend to have nightmares. Your brain will take whatever it's consuming right before bed and it'll continue to process it all night long while you're sleeping. I remember one time I was reading a book on how to write. I'm writing a book right now. And the last chapter that I read was about writing creative titles for your book. So I was reading that chapter and then I fell asleep. And then I woke up that morning, like all night long, my brain was continuing to process the information that I just read. And I woke up that morning with 5 fresh titles right off the top of my head. And I ran to my journal and I wrote them down. And so what happened was my brain basically had a homework assignment to work on all night long. It took what I gave it and it worked on it all night long for me. So I woke up with the answers that I was looking for. Whatever you give your brain right before bed, it's going to continue to process and work on that. What do you want to give it to work on? You want to give it murder mysteries from Netflix? You want to process that stress and anxiety all night long? You want to process social media and the FOMO and envy and jealousy? Is that what you want to process all night long? Or do you want to process something like wholesome, something that's going to develop you and help you grow in some way? So I like to read before bed because I want to give my subconscious something healthy and wholesome to work on all night long so that I wake with vibrancy, if you will. I personally recommend you set your alarm and during your power down hour, you read. Read right before bed. Oftentimes also reading is very soothing. So it's going to help you decompress and turn your brain off the time you need to get to bed by. And that's going to help you get to bed on time. It's also going to help you get better quality sleep. You'll sleep a lot better and richer and deeper throughout the night, whatever time you want to wake up at, so that you can get a head start on the rest of the world. I hope this blessed you. Again, go to themorninghero.com. I've got some more tips and tricks in a free guide. It's called Rise and Grind Wake Up Guide. In that guide, I have some more tips and tricks like this on how to go to bed early so you can rise and grind, wake up early and dominate the day. All right, see you guys in the next video.